A 42-year-old man stumbles into the ER clutching his stomach. Doctors assume appendicitis, maybe a hernia. But when the X-ray flashes onto the screen, everyone freezes. Inside his abdomen, clearly outlined, is an entire mobile phone. How did it get there? And how long can it stay hidden before it turns deadly?
Can you hear me now? Good.
Hey guys, really quick before we jump into the video, I just want to say that, believe it or not, more than 90% of you guys watching this video right now aren't subscribed. I want to continue bringing you guys high quality content here on the channel. And to do that, we need your support. I'm not sponsored by any big industry names, and everything we do here on this channel is supported by you guys. So if you subscribe now, my commitment to you is that me and my team will continue doing everything in our power to bring you guys the highest quality content. Thanks for listening. Let's get into it. Today on Critical Encounters, we're diving into documented patient cases to look at some of the most bizarre, shocking, and dangerous foreign objects ever found inside the human body. Now, how they got there might surprise you more than what's actually found inside. This is Ramesh, a 34-year-old man who walked into the emergency room complaining of persistent abdominal discomfort. It wasn't excruciating, but it wasn't normal either. For the last few weeks, the pain had been growing, dull, constant, and unrelenting. Now, Ramesh told doctors he hadn't eaten anything strange. No foreign travel, no medication, no surgeries, just the stomach pain. And when physicians ordered basic labs, nothing really stood out. His white blood cell count was slightly elevated, just enough to raise eyebrows, but not enough to panic. But then came the CT scan, and what it revealed made no sense. There, lodged deep inside his stomach, was a foreign object. Cylindrical, dense, roughly 5 centimeters long, and unmistakable. It was a pen refill. Now, the team was stunned. He hadn't reported swallowing a pen. No memory of it. Nothing in his behavior suggested self-harm. So, how did it get there? You see, sometimes the mundane can become dangerous. Ramesh had a habit, chewing on pen caps while working. Now, during one stressful evening, he recalled biting down a little too hard. The pen snapped. He thought he'd spit it out, but maybe he didn't. Most small plastic items pass through the GI tract uneventfully. But this pen was rigid, narrow, and just sharp enough to resist movement. It lodged in the gastric folds of his stomach and stayed there. Over time, the body began reacting. Inflammation, gastric discomfort, and eventually a low-grade infection. Cases like this are rare, but not impossible, especially when patients aren't fully aware of their habits. Objects this size can go unnoticed until they start causing pain, or worse, perforation. In Ramesh's case, they were lucky. Gastroenterologists were able to remove the pen via endoscopy before it caused an ulcer or tore the stomach lining. But had it gone undetected, it could have ruptured the stomach wall, leading to something called peritonitis. And that can kill you. Meet Anjali, a 17-year-old girl who arrived at the emergency department with severe lower abdominal pain. The discomfort had been escalating for days, accompanied by vomiting, but she had no significant medical history. Her symptoms, though, were alarming. Now, upon examination, Anjali had tenderness in the hypogastric region. Initial labs were inconclusive, so the team ordered imaging to investigate further. Now, a pelvic radiograph unveiled something disturbing. A long radiopaque object inside the bladder. It didn't look like a typical bladder stone. This was a foreign object. An ultrasound confirmed it. A linear hyperechoic structure penetrating the anterior bladder wall. Then came the critical detail. Anjali revealed that several years earlier, she had undergone an unsafe unregulated procedure intended to end a pregnancy. The person performing it was not a licensed provider, and a wooden object had been inserted into her body. And this is a practice that was both dangerous and illegal. The object had migrated into her bladder, causing chronic irritation, and eventually it perforated the wall. Surgical intervention saved her life. Anjali's story is tragic, and it shows how unregulated procedures can lead to devastating outcomes. Foreign bodies don't just cause pain, they can cause infections, internal injury, and lifelong damage. Now this is Desiree Kelly, a 25-year-old from Farmington, Missouri. She woke up one night with a strange tickling inside her ear. At first, she thought it was her pillow or her hair brushing against her face, but it didn't stop, and then it moved. Desiree described the sensation as a fluttering, deep, uncomfortable, and inescapable. By morning, she was in tears. She rushed to an urgent care clinic. Now, upon examination, the doctor saw something inside, curled up just next to her eardrum. And it wasn't wax, and it wasn't a blockage. They flushed her ear with sterile water, and that's when it happened.
Well, they confirmed that there is something in my ear. She goes, "There's something in there. It's not a moth." Wonderful. She adds that it's curled up back there. So now I'm waiting for the nurses to come back and flush my ear out. I am so embarrassed, first of all, because that's so gross and I'm a clean person. But I'm also like, it's an uneasy feeling. There's a bug in my ear. We're all done. It was a spider. It was alive. I threw up. I'm never sleeping again.
A spider emerged from her ear, a real live arachnid. It had been sitting just millimeters from her eardrum. Now Desiree broke down crying. She almost vomited. And honestly, who wouldn't? Foreign bodies in the ear aren't uncommon, but living ones? That's something else. Spiders can crawl into ears during sleep, drawn by the warmth, darkness, and moisture. If not removed quickly, they can injure the eardrum or cause infections. In Desiree's case, she got checked in time. Physically, she was fine, but mentally, the trauma may have stayed with her. Now, we've shown you some of the strangest objects ever documented to be found in the human body. But believe it or not, there are even more cases that we couldn't include. Some were just too graphic for this platform, or too bizarre, or frankly, too NSFW for YouTube. But here's the real takeaway. Whether it's swallowed, inserted, or embedded, foreign bodies can trigger infection, internal bleeding, and organ damage. Many of these cases start with a weird twinge and unexplained pain. Don't ignore it. Your body will usually tell you when something's wrong. And when it does, it's your job to listen. Get it checked. That decision could save your life. Stay alert, stay curious. And if something ever goes weird, don't Google it. Go see a doctor. Thanks for watching this episode of Critical Encounters. I'm Dr. Dynamo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.